decoys and did like kind of a lake theme, so.
No.
Okay,
You don't, unless you wanna win, then you have to go kind of crazy, but that's why I'm not going.
I wanna win.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Jen's gonna come with like a pot, like.
I'm with you.
Don't tempt me, Brent Patrick.
Okay,
We
we're
have
live.
to find out.
3.5 months of renovation, Debbie.
I know.
3.5 months.
Well, if you want decoys, I
First
got,
world problems.
we could have our ducks in a row.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a bad dad joke, man.
It's a bad joke, really.
I'm
Dad
not
joke.
chair, Jen's chair.
We are live.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
Yeah, it didn't give me any pause this time. It just went straight in.
that's okay. People know that.
As
we like to have
deputy
fun.
chair, that is.
You mean deputy mayor?
No, chair.
Oh,
I'm
yeah. Oh, I
Supporting
see.
you in the role of chair today. All right.
And we're-
Welcome everyone to the Corporation of the Tantua Bonashir Valley, the subcommittee meeting on Tuesday, April 16th, 2024, and it is 1:33 p.m. I am calling this meeting to order. Are there any additions to the agenda?
Nope.
I see none.
There is just the one there for Kevin. I sent out an email. I don't know if everybody
Yeah.
got it.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was. I
It's
thought it
not
was-
in his package, but so
True.
it's
It's just
just
an
going under
addition.
Kevin, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I had a question for Kevin too. Is there any pecuniary interest or can I get a confirmation of the agenda as amended? Moved by Brent, all in favor? Thank you. Is there any pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? I see none. Could I have an approval of the minutes of our April 2nd committee meeting? Moved by Tracy. Were there any errors or omissions? I see none. All in favor? Excellent. We have no delegations this afternoon, so at this time, we will invite Kevin to come to the table for his recreation report. Welcome, Kevin.
Yeah.
Beauty day out there.
It is very nice. We'll take many of these.
He already has a tan.
Yeah, that's right too. Yeah, it won't take long. Anyways, my report for the arena is pretty straightforward. The only thing was one was the compressor that came in late
Yes.
Friday. I was in Petawawa, so I got a hold of that, so it was anyways, I would just like to move, if council permission, move forward with this purchase, so we can have it ready to go by September. Because there is at least a 20-week.
That's what my next
So-
question is going to be.
Anyways, we're right there. Cross your fingers. I don't foresee an issue, but
Okay,
I don't.
well, why would you put that in there?
Yeah, and to lessen the overall bill of that, we're doing some in kind work ourselves, so.
Okay.
To get the compressor in the room, we gotta take the steel door frame out because it comes on a big skid, so. Otherwise, they'll take it apart, and so we're doing that just to alleviate some of the costs. They bring it
Great.
and
You're getting Emma to do that, right?
Yeah,
Let's
that's
do
right.
this.
So anyways, there's a compressors on the stand, so we're gonna take that, jackhammer that down, so otherwise. They're getting an outside contractor to come in, we can do it in-house or do as much as we can ourselves and just say that.
That'd be a bit of a savings.
Oh, for sure,
Okay, great.
for sure.
Good work.
How old is that, the gone compressor?
It'll be 22.
That doesn't know what's the thing. Even
It
the
doesn't
A-tag
know.
won't last like
Yeah.
that.
It's 22, yeah. So no, it's, we've had,
I thought at budget, he said it was 25.
Well, there's two.
there's a compressor and a generator and.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
condenser, yeah.
Yeah, but not.
Just keeping you honest.
No, it's fair enough, fair enough. Anyways, that's where we're heading with that, so that's a goal and perfect.
Great.
So we don't need a motion, we can just give direction to staff.
It's part of his budget.
Yeah.
So I know that we haven't passed the budget, but ostensibly we've done our deliberations. So for staff needs, things that are on their list, especially when it could be 20 weeks.
Yes.
Yes, he doesn't even need staff direction, just go and do it.
We just need a council motion tonight because it's sole
Yeah.
sourced.
Oh,
There's
yes,
nobody else that really makes them and it's over the $50,000 threshold. So we didn't tender for it because there's literally two companies that make them. It's Simco and it's Tormont, and
Yeah.
Tormont owns Simco, so it's It's pretty silly
Well,
too.
we talked
do
about
that.
it pretty extensively. at
Yeah,
the
so,
budget as well.
and Mike Walker is our supplier and our maintenance person for the arena, so it really did make sense, and the timing issue. So-
Absolutely, and Simcoe has been very good. to
Don't know
us.
if they haven't yet.
Absolutely.
So we've hired our summer students already for summer, so they'll start in sporadic when some they're in school till June and the others get out early because they're in college.
Great.
Um, And the ice obviously is gone for the rink, with the works department herself, it's cleaned up, gone for another season. We attended, a safe arena registration in Pitawaba on last Friday, so, it's an upgrade for everybody to be operating in the plant room.
I love the province.
Minor ball we had the other night, Wednesday night and Friday night, both organizations, ball and soccer are 100 kids plus right now, so there'll be additional, obviously there's a few additional, but both registration very strong, very strong.
Fantastic.
In the village, planter boxes are going to Temper Gardens this year, so we're prepared, fixing some of the other ones that need a little bit of tender love and care. We purchased a lawn tractor, so we have it in our garage for this upcoming season. Eagles Nest handicap bathrooms, we put in two toilets, so it's just maintenance basically for the rest of my report. Legion Field, we had a request to put the tennis nets up already for pickleball now, so we put those up last Thursday it was, and so it's
That
getting
early?
used, so.
Well, it makes sense. There's other areas that people. have
Yeah.
picked
Yeah.
up for the last while, so.
Just going back to Centennial, did you talk to Mrs. Brohart about the tree?
Yes, I have.
Excellent,
Yes.
thank you, because
Yeah.
she phoned me and she was concerned that we didn't say yes to it. I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
No, I've reached out and she's also working with Gerber's Nursery to find a proper tree to put in there, so. Yeah, it's.
And for the lawn tractor, that's for the water cart.
Yes, it is.
Have we notified the horticulturist? Do we have it? No.
We will.
Okay.
They've changed, their leaders have changed a little bit, so I have. level
No,
with that.
I got asked by a couple members
Yeah.
and I said you'd have to, so Kevin will reach out to you.
Thank you. We will do that.
okay,
Thanks.
sorry, back to Mrs. Brohart, because the deputy mayor just decided to take over the meeting. Did she find some, plaque maker, and did she discuss with you guys about digging a hole for the plaque? Or for the,
Right now, she's still working on the tree. She talked about
Okay.
the plaque just briefly, but not
okay,
any detail. No.
all right.
And she was thinking of Yukowski's.
Yes, that's who I recommended.
Yeah.
But I didn't know where we're landing, but she did say, could we dig the hole? Because if we're putting in the tree,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're removing one that's split and
Yeah.
everything, so I'm just hoping to put it right, replace with a new one.
perfect.
That's, I know what the idea is.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Kev.
And the splash pads is something, it's new to me
Yeah.
anyway, so we just need to give them an update, at least 2 weeks prior to start up, so. I'm gonna probably send it in for May, maybe, and have it 2 weeks later, long weekend. Do we have a set date on that? I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so I thought that we were trying to say like June 1st.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right?
Yeah.
Because the May long weekend moves around a bit. But that being said, last May long weekend was scorching hot.
Yeah.
So I'm not adverse if you want to, I don't think that if it's scorching hot, it's nice to have it open. But that being said, it's good to have one date so that we're not being barraged with, when is the splash pad going to be open? Why isn't it open? But yeah, if it's gotta be tested, maybe at the beginning of May, hedging our bets that it's going to remain warm and dry.
mhm.
Cause you can splash long before you can swim.
Yes. Yes,
So I'd say May 15th might be good. And then if we have to delay the opening, we won't lose. But you can't
Exactly.
open it earlier without permission.
right. Yeah, and I was surprised by, I wondered if that was the restriction if you were recirculating the water, not using new water. So I was surprised to see this in your report.
Yeah, I was surprised because he called me and he said, can I come take a look? And I said, for sure, we'll go up. So, and we had a conversation like what you're saying. So like he said, our splash pads are somewhat is different because we're not circulating our water, but so he said, basically it's a paper trail, this is saying yes. That you are notifying us that you are open and so
Okay,
So
that's,
we're gonna go with May 15th then for this year. We'll see how it works out. If the weather stays this way every year, we could change it to the 15th. If it doesn't, we may have to go back to June 1st.
I think the most important thing is that we don't go later than June 1st,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
I think earlier is fine, later is not. I mean, and last year, that was quite the anomaly. I mean, it was like almost 30 degrees on May 2-4 weekend.
We already have the pickleballers petitioning us. We don't want the preschoolers in here.
Right? Because they can get nasty. Oh, I had to go to the library this morning and the gaggle of cuteness next door at Catch a Star. Oh. They're all wearing their little sun hats.
so that's the end of my report. Any questions from council?
No.
Good.
Oh, that's me, sorry. I fell asleep there for a sec. What is with you people today?
It's his Easter egg
You're
basket.
breaking the place.
It's not.
No, but then,
I brought Easter eggs for the office and this is what happens. No, I'm kidding. It's just mine. There's my name tag.
you can get the, yes,
You're demoted.
I'm demoted. Who wants the tag? Who's next? Tracy, Johnson.
paper.
What? Flies away. I don't have more Easter eggs
Yeah, I'm
actually
not
for
probably
office, so
down
it's good you guys gave that back to me. I have like a bag full.
Nice. All right, Sandra, over to you. Do you wanna come sit with us or are you good there?
Oh.
Whatever you want.
I'll move some now, Mom, Tracy.
Yeah, I know. I hate having my back to it.
No,
So the March income statement was in your package. The first two columns were just comparing January to like March of this year to March of last year. Did anybody have any questions on that?
I was not surprised by your last note about taxes receivable.
Okay,
I honestly, when I looked at when I looked at your financials, but then I read your report. This is the trend everywhere.
Mhm.
So when you're talking about paying your mortgage, your insurance, your rent, your heat, your hydro, fuel, food. Property taxes are absolutely taking a back seat. And I have no doubt that later on this week, I have a Roma meeting, but we do a cross-province check-in about things that are going on in our zones. But this is a trend I think we're seeing across probably the country, not just in Renfrew County or in Ontario. But I could have almost seen this coming before your report.
well, and taxes receivable had gone down somewhat during COVID.
Yes,
I guess people had extra money that they couldn't spend anywhere, so a lot of people paid off. But most of the people that are on the arrears list are making,
they're trying.
they're trying.
Yes, I just wasn't surprised to see it being up 193,000 at this time of the year. Coming out of winter, number one,
Mhm.
but also during COVID, none of us drove. So we didn't have fuel costs. And fuel costs here are substantial. So I could see where during that lockdown time, things might have been a little easier, but now with
Yeah.
interest rates and food prices, don't cry, Sandra. Yeah,
And then I just had like 3 other meetings that I attended during the month.
yep.
That's fun.
How was the webinar? I mean, you said it was a great session, but the women in municipal finance,
It was a great session. It really was.
all 5 of you?
No, there's a lot of women in there.
Do they have any men in municipal
We'll
finance?
trend today.
Yes, they do, but this was a specifically women.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
It's always, it's actually shocking sometimes when we go to a conference and you go to a women's seminar, and there are often men there as well. We don't kick them out, but I'm often surprised because in the hallways, it feels like a sea of, 50 to 70-year-old men in blue suits. But when you get into some of these seminars and you see how many women there actually are, but that's why I made the joke, all 5 of you.
Yeah. So if anyone had any other questions or
Especially on the financials.
Perfect.
everything seems very much in line on the
Yeah,
financials.
I read
Other than
that,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, when you follow the statistics, that the delinquencies are up, no, it makes sense because everyone's getting taxed to death, so.
but I also appreciate the fact that Sandra's telling us that people are
Trying.
making an effort, even with partial payments or small payments every month. I think that's
100%.
right.
Yeah.
All right, on to administration, please, madam.
Yes, so we are working after the budget workshop, so we're working to sort of make sure all those numbers and put them together, and Sandra will have a lovely PowerPoint that will explain it all coming forward. We do always have to pass the unfunded amounts prior to passing the budget. It can be at the same meeting, it just has to be passed first. So that's usually just our landfill post-closure costs and some sick leave time and things like that, and amortization, of course. So that will maybe bring that forward at the May 7th meeting, and then the budget presentation for May 21st is what we're aiming for. If it has to be the first meeting in June, that's not the end of the world. We're hoping Merv will be back the
Yeah,
second meeting in May. If he says no, but I'll be there for the first meeting in June, we can maybe have the discussion whether we want to put it off 2 weeks just so he's here. But yeah, he does have his binder. He has reviewed and he is in touch, and now he's closer to home. He's in Barry's Bay, so that's good.
I chatted with him on Friday and he
Good.
seemed pleased, so.
Good.
I mean, not pleased being stuck in the Ottawa
Yeah.
hospital, but pleased with, yeah. And we probably should mention to our viewing public that Merv has not been with us. He had hip surgery. Well, 2 in fact, but he is on the mend and he's now in Barry's.
Good.
And I know that you put in your report about the
The
extension,
extension.
very
yes.
important.
Yes. So, the next thing we will be working on putting out notice for the AGM for Eganville Generation Corporation as well. I know the last meeting that we had, we sort of discussed the proposed date as also May 21st, but I don't think it puts too much on even with budget that day. That the AGM is usually pretty basic, just to go over the financials. Also, I did April 3rd chaired a Redford County Clerks and Treasurers Association has split up a couple of groups that meet quarterly. So a CAO group, a treasurers group, and a clerks group. So I'm chair of the CAO group. So we did have a great meeting there and still discussing asset management coordinators, which seems to be about 50% of the municipalities in Renfrew County have one, 50% don't, and probably the 50% that don't. Most of them are concerned that they're not going to make the July 1st deadline for the requirements of the regulations. We're good. We're good until July 2025. We've already met all of that when we redid it in 2021, but wanting to work with our partners and wanting to be sure that our plan and our data continues to be updated and we continue to track all of our costs so that we can make the best decisions we can. So
There is some doubt amongst the other municipalities that everybody will be done by June 30th.
yes, yeah. The housing summit, which was held in Renfrew on April 4th, was great. I sat with CMHC and Kavanaugh Developments, and it was really well done. I liked the county's sort of conversation of different properties and how to deal with and the proposals and the expressions of interest. I really appreciated the imagination that they put into it and the way that they're looking at it. And I did see quite a few developers pick up the expression of interest, so they hope they express it. And going forward, I know we've received a couple of different inquiries from developers about property that's available, but you know, we don't have community housing. I think the county's waiting for funding for community housing, so you know, I keep in touch with Jason Davis, and as we go, we just continue to see if there's opportunity out there and what properties are available. So sort of just tracking information right now, but not doing anything
I
further.
still think that proposal needs to come forward to this council to be agreed to and forwarded to the county, because one of the things that we discussed was if there is municipal land
Mhm.
or land that you know is especially serviceable, we had this
Mhm.
conversation,
That's right,
right? As much as it would be wonderful to put housing in Foymount and other rural areas or hamlet areas, it is preferable that it's serviced. And
Yeah.
so I did have a real estate broker reach out. It'll be coming to our first May meeting. And then we can forward that to county to include with the sort of the roster of properties that they're considering. But the other thing is, and I was so sorry to miss this, I had to, and I'm thrilled that Annette went. I just lost the thread.
Uh-oh.
That we're
Oh,
gonna.
this is a department venture at the county. So this is not social services, or community services. This is not just finance. This is not just development and property. This is across the corporation, which is I think a really interesting model that we're using with MESA as well.
Mhm.
I hope everyone got a chance to read their MESA document, or MESA. But I think that it's really important to note that, you know, we're all in. We're
Yeah.
all in for
Yeah.
this, so.
Exactly. I also moderated the AMCTO Leaders Forum, and we had various leaders across the province who were presenting on a multitude of things. Retention and attraction was definitely one. Generational changes in the workplace was another one, which I thought was very interesting. And also harassment of staff and council. There's been a lot of resignations lately, more of council than staff. It seems to have taken, it used to be there was a lot going on with staff. But it seems to have taken a turn now that it's council members who are receiving a lot of pushback and harassment and things from, whether it's from other councilors, whether it's from the public or whichever else. There's just kind of a feeling of incivility. And I think maybe it's part of the mental health crisis, maybe it's part of you know, the economy, and maybe I'm not sure what's causing it. So anyway, there was a great presentation on that. And I know it does talk about women saying no. She was very specific to say, like, it's not about women necessarily. It's across the board, like however you identify, you know, the fact is everybody needs to be respected and that kind of stuff. So I thought that was a great presentation as well. And also a really good one with Strategy Core talking about the pressures coming down from the province, like unbelievable pressures. And constant change and the speed.
You don't say.
The speed at which it is coming, which is something that, you know, they have years and years and years in government experience in that organization, and they've never seen a government move this fast before and make this many changes and really push it out. And it's hard to keep up and keep track and get everything that they want done, and at the same time, you know, deal with everything that you're already dealing with.
You know, what's funny
It's very
is
good.
that in 2014, with the Liberal government, we said exactly the same thing. At that point, I had only been doing this job for 4 years, and I remember my mentors at the county saying that they had never seen the amount of provincial legislation coming down on us. And it was almost the time of a turn of where we went from we were working as counselors, obviously all of us, but where the job really became a job to keep up and to make sure that we were supporting staff that had to do some of these reporting requirements and really lending our voice and our advocacy when we thought that something was not right, which you've heard it, me at this table rant about so many provincial policies that I think sometimes are just, they're just for naught. And at some point, we have to say, we can't keep up, we know we're creatures of the province, but at what point do we say, I give? So, but going back also, Annette, to councillors, mayors, councillors, everybody
Mhm.
across the province, just throwing up their hands and saying, it's too much, I'm not doing this job anymore, social media, phone calls, emails, and everybody's nasty and mean. And I think that there is, I think people have, not necessarily, they don't necessarily know the constraints that we're put under as municipal government, what we can and can't do. And as much as I want us to push back, I want us to advocate and say, no, we're not doing that anymore. I have land use planning strife out of my mind, same with fire, obviously. I just think that there are some things that the province is doing that, if left to our own devices, I think that we could muddle through and make the right decisions for our communities. And so I don't think it's only the stress of the constituent, the nastiness, the threats. I think there's so much that goes into these jobs that you might not have known when you were running for office.
Mhm.
And again, the speed at.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times in the last year and a half has Daryl come in and said, this is a new legislative piece from the province, right? We just had Kevin, now the water has to be tested in the splash pad,
District health units, same thing,
right?
a little strong arm there,
We're kind of a catch-all for everything.
Yeah,
except money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that there is a misunderstanding about about our limitations,
Mhm.
and they're vast. What we can and cannot do, is not gonna fit in the bucket. What we can't do, I don't know. Anyway, that you get where I'm going, but I think that the job's not easy. And so that, that once a month that I get a thank you note, I kind of focus all my energy on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And try and forget about, the nastiness on social media because, we canceled a youth dance or,
You seem to get the most of it.
I get a
to be
lot,
honest. Yeah.
And then last thing on my report, and then I'll get to Sarah's and Erica's
Very
is,
important.
is as you mentioned, Merv has been away, and under the municipal act, you can miss 3 months of consecutive meetings. And if you're going to miss more than that, then you need a resolution of council, otherwise you lose your seat. So Merv's not there yet. He's not there until next month, but I kind of felt this was prudent to bring it forward to this meeting. But I don't want him worrying about it. I'd rather get back to him now and say, council's already passed it. You go through your recovery. If you're back by the second meeting in May, like you planned, that's great. But if you need more time, I don't want to wait until the last minute to ask, because I don't want him worried about it. So as you mentioned, he's recovering from surgery. And so what I'll need is a council resolution this evening, basically saying that council is permitting him by resolution to carry on and be absent until such time as he's better. So I did add September 2024. Should he need that much time to ensure a full recovery before he resumes his duties. I didn't want to narrow it too fine just in case. But, I know he's hoping to be back well before September. And of course, if the summer goes on and September is not looking like a good day, I think that's a good time to bring it back to kind of review and have a discussion and see how he's feeling.
Yep.
So if that's okay, that's what I'll propose for tonight.
Excellent.
Agreed.
Yes, I don't want him worried at all,
No.
because that's not our rule, guys. That's the municipal act.
Yeah.
So I certainly wouldn't want somebody coming forward and saying, well, he hasn't been here for 3 months. He doesn't have a seat anymore.
So the planning and emergency report, it's just, Eric has listed the various meetings. We have 3 today, and Ann McBean's schedule for coming in here it is listed there. We haven't had too many marriage licenses or lottery licenses yet this year, but I'm sure we will. She's attending the Freshette meetings. There's not much to talk about there. And also, we did receive I'm talking too soon, but we did receive the compliance letter, but I dare to add that to the next month's
Yeah.
report, just so council can see. So that's always good to know. Any questions on Erica's report before I go to Sarah's?
No, I didn't see any concerns with this afternoon's planning meetings either.
Yeah, no, I think they're pretty.
I mean, one of them is
straightforward.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're pretty straightforward.
Those planning considerations, they all are potentially going to generate building permits at some point, so that's why
Yeah.
they're important.
Yeah,
Maybe not.
maybe
all,
not. Well, I think ours is the most important, right? So that lot next to the garage can be developed. Because there's nobody's gonna wanna buy it if they can't develop it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So other than that, you have the Rural Economic Summit is on there as well, which Sarah did give a breakdown earlier. So she did do as requested. So over the next 2 years, you kind of asked what is it that she wants to focus on? So she's answered that question there about the geographical strengths and making us a main stopping point between the National Capital and region and Algonquin Park. So she's investigating that, some expos and workshops and things like that. The tagline, so we have some dates out for that meeting through a doodle poll. We got some good response, so we'll see how that goes and whether we can come up with something or whether we can't. And if we can't, that's, hopefully we can at least have some discussion for, moving forward. So she did talk about the Eganville Area Community Development Group. As you know, the Beer and Wine Festival's moving forward with the June the 1st.
It is, and it's Annette got the special engagements permit in record time.
Annette was a little bit embarrassed because it says 60 days. And in my experience with the Alcohol and Gaming Commission, 60 days sometimes can mean longer. So I certainly didn't expect it.
And it was 58 days.
Yes, it was 58 days. We had 58 days. So I thought, ooh, we're 2 days short. I'm a little bit concerned about it, but we'll give it a shot. And I said, it's not a liquor license. It's an occasions permit. So it's a little bit less, but I still didn't expect it. I had it within like a 24-hour period, and that's
Before I got home.
Yeah. So it was very fast. Now, all of the people involved in the event have their own license. So I don't know if it's because everybody involved already has a license and we have all the supporting letters and it's a town, the township gave a supporting letter, but they didn't seem too concerned about it at all. So that was good to know. And all the parties that needed to be notified, the OPP, the paramedics, everybody's been notified. And so it's full steam ahead. So it was a good news story, but it made me feel like a real negative Nancy that I was, making something to be a bigger deal than it was. But
That's a lot of process for
anyways.
an event, what you just mentioned.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah, what you have to go through.
Because the weirdness is that each of the vendors
Mhm.
has their own license
Yeah,
to serve and sell.
yeah.
Because they do these events.
Mhm.
So
So we
But
still have to have that layer on top.
that's right.
Yeah, because of where it's happening at the property. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
The applications, so going forward, that we haven't yet heard from or are on there, so we're still waiting to hear. We did hear from Canada Summer Jobs, so we are getting 2 students through them. I think we got 3 last year, so, we were sad we didn't get 3 again, but we got 2, and the summer experience program, which is provincial, because Canada Summer Jobs is federal, hasn't announced yet, so we might get 1 or 2 students through them as well.
Well, budget's being tabled right now, so maybe we'll get more.
Yes, sure. Sarah also put a quick brand style guide together for council to review. if you have any comments or thoughts on it, you know, be sure to reach out to her.
This is
But,
not in my wheelhouse, so I'm gonna leave it alone. I'll leave that to anybody. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so.
I.
Yeah.
Like, she's got fonts in here and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, so she's just trying, it's just trying to keep it consistent with everybody, so if we have other organizations or other events and we're all advertising the same thing, we're all
Yes.
using the same, the
Question,
same.
question, sorry to interrupt. This beautiful bountiful, is that new or is that from the
That's
past?
Sarah
Okay.
has come up with that, it doesn't have to be anything, she just thinks it sounds good,
Oh,
so.
it sounds great. I was thinking, Jen, remember we were at the museum and we were looking at their
Yes.
mission? It's the way to if there's a way to incorporate
I
Sure,
love
that.
that.
Yeah, I can't even remember it right now, but
It's,
you know, wood,
Silver
silver,
and water,
and yeah.
etched in
etched
stone,
in stone, carved in
carved
wood.
in wood, yeah,
Yeah.
and there's a, what's the last one, we're missing.
I
one.
know, I should know this, but
Oh, isn't it just the three of them?
there's three.
No, I thought there was 4.
Oh,
I'm not sure. I can,
Just put in correspondence, C and we'll talk about it. It's fine.
Anyway, it's a beautiful.
I'll pull
it is
it and just
beautiful. Yeah,
add it to this somewhere or,
okay,
yeah,
good idea. Maybe
Yeah.
with the photo of the museum.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's already a wonderful statement, right? Mission.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Mhm.
I'm somewhat embarrassed that after, living here for 20 years, I only noticed it
Yeah,
2 years ago, but anyway.
well, it's only open in summer too, so.
But also it should be on everything. It's so
Well,
beautiful.
maybe it should go, that's why I'm wondering if it should be
Yes.
replaced, not to take away her work, because that's also really good, so,
Mhm. Well, I think it belongs to the museum, so she certainly didn't want to be,
yeah,
you know, if it belongs to the Heritage Society and the museum,
Yeah.
you know, the Montreal Arts, she doesn't want to be,
yeah, I know.
you know,
I get it.
Yeah.
but if there's a way to coordinate, we can all work together, that's wonderful.
It is really
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
though,
Yeah.
and speaks to our heritage and our area.
For sure.
So, yeah, okay.
So that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
All right, so we are moving on then. If comments, questions, concerns for Annette on the 3 reports? Hers, Erica's, or Sarah's? I see none. Come on, people, wake up, everybody. Look at that today. I feel low energy. All right, correspondence A, was there anything in correspondence A?
Um,
No, we're already doing our own stuff for Earth Day, so like what's the concern with anything on that? Same as anything else in correspondence. He's very discussed like the BD or like for the county
Yeah.
of rent for affordable housing and all that, so it's like anything, you'll just adjust it as needs come forward, right?
I had a question, I don't know if it's in this one or not, but heritage, about our heritage buildings in our community. Is that in,
That was.
That was
buried in
last-
the housing?
That was last meeting.
But we're bringing
No,
it
there's one
forward
here.
for a resolution
Yeah.
tonight.
That's it. okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the resolution from the last
Okay.
one extends it in 5 years.
Because it's library and museum.
Okay, I just had a question general, like what's our risk in terms of losing any heritage buildings? If there, am I reading the wrong thing here?
No,
No,
it's where they're asking for us by 2026 to inform them what
Right.
heritage building we want to keep.
Yeah,
But
Sorry. Well, I was on the wrong
Sorry.
resolution. my
But the
bad.
resolution, what we're asking is for the province to extend that till 2030,
right.
so that we
okay.
don't have to make the decision till then, so yeah, if that passes this evening, then we'll send it to them and we'll see if they extend it. If they don't extend it, then yes, we will have to have a discussion before 2026 to decide. We only have one heritage building that I'm aware of.
Museum,
Yes, so you
okay,
know.
that's why I was
it's
curious if,
It's not.
how many
it's
do we
not
have?
too- Yeah, it's not too difficult, the discussion. You would think that the Sebastopol Port here, but
But
it's not
it's not.
actually, it's not actually registered under the Ontario Heritage. It is a heritage building, don't get me wrong. It's
The
just
log
not-
building,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just not registered as one.
right,
So the question then will be, yeah, it sounds to me like if we don't tell the province we want to keep it heritage, it will lose its heritage status. and we'd have
That's
to
what I
re-
read,
and we'd have to
yes.
re-register it.
I was worried about any possible buildings that we have here.
We only have one that's registered, so it would
Okay.
be an easy decision in 2026, because we'd only be discussing one. Yeah. Now, if we want to register other buildings, we can have that discussion too, but that. they're already not registered.
Something to think about.
I can't think of any other buildings that haven't burned.
Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, moving on to correspondence B. Home heating sustainability. The PLPOA sponsorship, that's something we do every year.
That's for the road signage pretty much, and
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
yeah,
it's just straightforward.
Is that
everybody's
the,
okay?
So everyone's good.
Good.
Is that the
Okay.
launch, right, the signage?
Therapy, fifth and provincial day action. I wish they'd stop moving around the day of action on, like, we've got Earth Day that we tried to, and now they've got the litter day. Now I'm like, should we have done one for Earth Day and one for litter day? Anyway,
Yeah,
keep, anybody on social, keep sharing that, our ditch days, because that's going far and wide.
April 20th, right?
And
Actually, see a lot
27.
of, you see a lot of ditches already cleaned up, to be honest.
I know.
It's just it's an early year.
my bag is in my garage.
Yeah.
Standardized regulatory framework for ride sharing, we already have our. Phase out of free well water testing. This is very, very, very important, and I just this morning received a letter from Lisa Thompson, the Minister of Ag, and all of her many titles, about, you know, what this could do. It's such a simple thing for the province to have through their health units, and I would hate to see it go away. So I would really like to support this resolution. Godrich kind of went crazy this month. They've got all sorts of resolutions. Municipal code of conduct, again, I just got an AMO blast. They have more training on municipal code of conduct. But the request for, to province for mental health and addictions facility in Renfrew County, I think that we should support as well.
Mhm.
So those
That
two,
one coming from the city of Pembroke.
yes.
Yeah, that
Yes.
would make sense.
So we do have some things county coming down. But it's with obviously a partnership with all the stakeholders. Anything else on correspondence?
So we're gonna support 6 and 8,
Yes,
very good.
excellent, good.
I would just state, if I may, that a lot of our neighboring, not a lot, but a few of our neighboring municipalities are reviewing their code of conduct right now with Tony.
Oh.
With their integrity commissioners. So I'm sort of pausing and waiting to see what review, what improvements.
I
what
was
they
gonna
make.
say, we reviewed ours, that was 2 years ago, I
Yeah.
thought, with Tony, so like.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're just kind of waiting and seeing.
I'm waiting to see
Yeah.
what comes out of that, what changes he suggests or makes, or, and then sort of have a review of their drafts and see, is there anything in there, you know, that I'm like, oh, that's a really neat, idea, I should, so I'm sort of, I'm not having him review ours as well, I'm waiting to see what comes out of that, and they're all gonna share their drafts, just to see what is proposed.
If anything is substantially
Yeah,
different.
yeah, just to bring back as a conversation, but, yeah,
Mhm.
just what, for just making note for where it talks about municipal codes of conduct. So that's really all I'm doing, is waiting to see.
No,
in the
well, you're
next
seeing
year.
it across multiple councils anyway,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
not uncommon right now, so you're seeing a lot of people update it, but I remember we updated ours about 2 years ago.
there
Yeah.
is a lot going on in different municipalities in Renfrew County.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I think if they're coming to a point where they're witnessing things that they haven't seen before,
Yes,
then it's not a bad idea for a review, but I agree with Annette. You know, we could borrow them.
well, depending on what, yeah, because there might be a situation out there that's never happened here, may never happen here, but
Exactly.
maybe, oh, that's an interesting clause to have, so that if it ever happens here, we can address it.
Yes,
But it may be very specific to certain things, and if it is, then, it's something to read, but it might not be applicable to us.
Well, it's no different in our code of conduct, I think we added on, I think it was like sister-in-laws or.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
that's
yeah, we
right,
added
yeah,
Years ago,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, so you can have special amendments for each
That's right.
specific municipality as well, so, no, it's fine, it's like any way and watch, see.
I'm just wondering if there'll be
Yeah.
harsher language, because of some of these council members stepping down all over the place. I'm wondering if there'll be more of an anti-bullying,
No,
framework.
Yeah.
Like, as it stands, we are not allowed to bully or harass or,
No.
or say mean things to each other, Brent. But, I'm wondering what kind of verbiage will
Yeah.
be put into
Yeah.
those codes. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, so I don't think we need to also have Tony reviewing ours. I think we can.
No, I
Yeah.
think, I think our funds can be better spent on
See,
other
yeah,
things.
see what comes down from everybody else and then decide whether ours still looks pretty good or whether it's not standing the test.
Well, I like the idea of you doing the comparison shopping for us.
Yeah.
That's important because you
Yeah.
wouldn't buy a car without doing that. And secondly, the other time that rules get changed too often is after there's some kind of fiasco or a disaster. And we want to avoid that at all costs.
The whiplash effect.
Yeah.
Yes, but that being said, you know, as Annette has said many, many, many times, we're always on the leading edge, and I have no doubt that some of our neighbors steal stuff from us. So there you go.
We share.
We share, that's right, we share. All right, new and unfinished library update. I loved getting Susan's report.
Mhm.
That was fantastic. I like it. I want it out there in the media. What an amazing job our little library does. It's incredible.
We even have interns. That's so great.
Are you an intern now?
I wish I was.
Okay,
I love their
Um,
campaigns
Brent,
with
did you
wrapping
have
the
any-
books.
what's
I
that?
love their campaigns with wrapping the books.
I
You
know,
know, and the one of challenged or discontinued or not allowed to carry in the library. I'm like wondering if they're still wrapped up there.
interesting.
Yeah,
Oh, their Valentine's Day, like day with a book.
yeah, that one,
Yeah.
yeah,
I,
They
but
seem to have no end of good ideas.
yeah.
seriously, they're like a brain trust up there.
Yeah.
And I was just there and to get our tea tickets and to donate some bucks. Sorry, John, I forgot about you. But even at the counter, I was pitched an idea and I'm like, bring it to council in May, you bring it. So they're just always, well, but they are hearing stuff too, right? From the younger crowd, like the teens and like they're picking up what some of these demographics really want, which I love.
They're in all demographics. The only note to make in that, just for more the public side, is just on the comparison between February 2024 and 2023. At 2024, there's 485 no. And like total patrons, and we're in 2023, it reflects 77, but it's actually 477.
Oh, okay.
It's just a clerical error.
Sorry,
and it was
I
like-
told me that before the meeting, I
Yeah.
meant to say
It
that.
was just, we adjusted it in the meeting and that was about it, but sounds good. Any questions on that? But yeah, I'll just submit it every month for you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And gives us more than a bird's eye view, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Like, we're getting the nitty gritty. All right, our next meeting date is May the 7th. Does that sound right?
Yep.
Media. Hello, Debbie.
I'm good, thank you.
We do have a closed session and there's a part of me that wants to keep Debbie here so she's in the know. Am I allowed to keep her?
Council is allowed, if council is allowed to permit whoever they wish to have in
We
there.
have to confiscate her pen and pencil.
She knows better.
Well,
It would be in the interest of the public. I have no problem with
I
it.
just want to tell her what is going on and give her some information. Okay,
I love information.
so can I get a mover to go into closed under section 239.2 of the Municipal Act for an identifiable individual?
I think Sandra has, you have the resolutions, eh?
Yeah.
Or I could just do it off the top of my
You
head.
did, yeah.
How close did I get?
Oh, we were close.
I was close enough.
Yeah.
Can I get a mover, please? Moved by John Epps. All in favor? And we're in close. Yeah, I'll just keep you for 1 minute.
I need to close the door.
And that has to leave.
I'm going to also take. Stop the video. Okay, we're back on.
Thank you. I have a resolution dated the 16th day of April 2024 that committee moves out of closed session to rise and report the committee met to receive information and give staff direction regarding a nomination and to approve minutes from April 2nd, 2024. May I have a mover, please? Moved by Brent. All in favor? Excellent. Alrighty then, and there is nothing else. We can report work of this day. Don't get used to it because I think things are about to ramp up. And may I have a mover to adjourn the meeting, please? Moved by Tracy. All in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you, committee.
Back in 5:15.
5:15.
Yeah.